Hello. If you were anywhere near a school computer in the early 2000s, or finally got your turn on the family computer, chances are you've played a Flash game or two in your day. Sites like Armor Games, Miniclip, Addicting Games, and if you had enough sense to clear your browsing history, Newgrounds became our version of Itch.io or Fortnite Creative. They didn't have big budgets or crazy good graphics, but they were our early introduction to indie games. You got to see the craftsmanship of an individual. It was art. Meanwhile, don't get me wrong, console graphics were going crazy every year. I'll never forget my brothers and I playing Tekken 3 or Final Fantasy 7, watching those cutscenes and saying, imagine if the whole game looked like this. Well, now you got games that look like Pixar movies. But none of that stopped us from getting hyped for the stick figure fight scenes from creators all over the world. Intense martial arts fight scenes that spanned episodes, often included gunfights or magic, and occasionally had some pretty decent gameplay, all starring stick figures. A craze that briefly exploded in the Flash scene, as Flash sites continued to grow. Maybe you didn't know the name, but you definitely knew the style. This is the story of Xiao Xiao. Created by Chinese animator Zhu Zhiqiang in the early 2000s, the Xiao Xiao shorts were stylish, minimalist Flash animations built entirely around martial arts-inspired stick fighting. Most featured a single stick fighter, usually black, fighting against hordes of stick figure enemies, oftentimes different colors than the main character to tell them apart. The combat ranged from pure kung fu to gung fu, similar to The Matrix. It really felt like watching the early stages of an action scene storyboard in motion. By the way, the character Xiao Xiao literally means very small. According to Wikipedia, an equivalent might be the English expression itty bitty. To me, these characters kind of look like stick figures standing up. Now, Zhu really did release a good collection of fights. I loved this man at the time. So let's break this down rapid fire style, and I'll stop to go in depth when necessary.
Ready, steady, go!
Xiao Xiao number 1 was a low-res teaser for what was to come. The first in the series was actually converted from an AVI to a Flash file before being posted to Newgrounds. Newgrounds pegs the upload date as February 1st, 2002 at around 2 a.m. Eastern time. At first I was concerned, but that's like 2 p.m. in Beijing, so it's all good. But Wikipedia says April 19th, 2001. And this random Korean wiki that I found also agrees with Wikipedia, but I'm gonna roll with Newgrounds here. This title was the start of it all, and introduced Zhu's animation style and fluid animation. It definitely made an impact in the Flash scene. Xiao Xiao 2, the first interactive entry, you play through timing-based minigames where you have to hit the prompt perfectly to win the sequence. When you miss, you end up seeing a lose animation instead and have to try again. Definitely gotta brush up on your Mandarin because you might accidentally restart the game if you hit the wrong button. Okay, so Xiao Xiao 3, this is the most iconic of the series for me. A lot of people loved it at the time, and this was being pushed big time among my friends groups. I'm saying this like I'm TMZ. I'm just talking about my friends at lunch. There's no interaction, just action. Classic one-man army fight scene with Jackie Chan environment work this time around. Great music, rainbow enemies, a ton of weapons, and a pretty cool boss fight at the end. Out of the animations, this is the one that's burned into everyone's brain, I promise you. This animation racks up a total of 46 bodies, by the way. There's a website that counts these. After that, Zhu really started mixing things up. Xiao Xiao 4 was a solid on-rail shooter, like Time Crisis. I mean, not just like them, but you know what I'm saying. It ends with a cinematic-only fight scene that is very clearly inspired by The Matrix. You gotta remember, okay? You're gonna see all types of Matrix inspiration throughout this stick figure journey, okay? I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't try to do the back bend and fall on my back. Or try to do that scene from Resident Evil Code Veronica. You remember when she like dives to catch the gun? Like she's like pretending to give up and she drops the gun and then she like catches it. I scraped my elbow so bad when I tried. This episode in the series was really popular on the living room gateway computer, by the way. Xiao Xiao 5, a return to the 1v1 format. Smooth, sharp, and with a bit more humor baked in. I actually really like this one. Xiao Xiao 6, all about mashing spacebar. It's interactive, but repetitive. Still, the animation stays solid. Back in the day with the mushy keyboards, this was okay, but with mechanical keyboards, my wife was kind of concerned. Xiao Xiao 7 and 8, two-part Infiltration arc. Amazing camera work and framing in this one. Zhu really showed off his skills here. Ends on a cliffhanger that never really got resolved, but here you get to see some cars, glass breaking, and just some really solid work with 3D angles. It's just so impressive what he was able to do as a solo animator. Like, it's just crazy. And then Xiao Xiao 9, a solid side-scrolling beat-em-up. Not bad, but definitely overshadowed by earlier entries. I had a Genesis growing up, so I'm stingy when it comes to beat-em-ups, but for a Flash game, he really did put in a lot of work. Flash game development could be really difficult at times if you ask me, trust me. All right, deep breath. After the last of the mainline series was uploaded sometime around 2002, the commercial work started rolling out. Commissioned by a Hong Kong mall and released sometime in 2002 as well, we got a red stickman this time around in an altered version of the number 3 fights from earlier in the series. Backgrounds were redone to match the City Plaza mall setting. The original black Xiao Xiao even makes a cameo on skates. Wild stuff and a term for what was to come. I wouldn't mind visiting this mall someday though, I gotta say. Got some good selections here. Heineken ad. Now, the Heineken ad came as a bit of a tease in a wrong way. There was actually anticipation for an upcoming movie. You can see some advertisements on some of his work here. So after a long wait, we saw the release of 2 beer ads. I really thought we were getting a movie. The Matrix was still hitting hard, I guess. The animation's solid, and I mean, cut the guy some slack. I'm sure it took many hours to do what he did. And if you think you can make a living doing what he's doing forever, like making Flash stuff and stick figures, bro, you've lost it. So he had to make some money, but it still feels weird watching one of your favorite Flash series reappear in a beer commercial when you're not old enough to drink yet. It's like if Goku's like, pushing the brand new soju, that probably would have been illegal. They would have probably banned Goku at the time. After the first Xiao Xiao, there was definitely a spike in stick figure martial arts. This isn't to say that no one used stick figures in animation before Zhu, alright? That's ridiculous. But the focus on martial arts and Kung Fu was certainly pushed by his efforts. So I'm going to highlight some really dope stick fights by other creators, and I'll post the links to the videos and creator page in the description if anyone wants to check these out in full. The League of Legends stick figure spotlight by Hyun. I had a crazy League of Legends phase, by the way. I don't want to talk about it, but the animation here was insane. My favorite champion was and will always be Garen and Tryndamere. Bro, any basic tank looking guy is going to get picked by me. I'm always going to pick that generic Knight man, alright? Shock 2 by Turquoise. More magical teleporting and a bit more dialogue. This was a wild card. I've never seen this before. I just kind of picked it and I sorted it by, most views. We got some raw XD in there, but it's honestly got some solid animation. Beard Ninja by Indo K. Now, I just finished Afro Samurai for the first time a few months ago. This is fire. A really good user perspective. You can feel the impact of the attacks here. That's what I'm always looking for in these action scenes, by the way, guys. If we got some major choreographers out there watching my videos, it's about the impact. Attacks need to shake, all right? The reason why Here Comes the Pain and the SmackDown vs. Raw, specifically Here Comes the Pain, felt so good, it was the impact. Now they're trying to make wrestling games so real that it's like your character has to take a break and stuff in fights. Bro, what are we doing here? We've lost the plot. Now here's where things get really interesting. In 2004, Zhu filed a lawsuit against Nike for plagiarizing his stickman style in their commercials. After Zhu filed his lawsuit, Nike pushed back hard. Their argument? That stick figures were too generic to copyright. But Zhu wasn't claiming to own stickmen as a concept. He was protecting his style, and initially he won. The Beijing People's Court ruled in Zhu's favor and ordered Nike to pay him $36,000 in damages. But Nike wasn't done. They appealed. And in 2006, a couple years later, the Beijing High People's Court overturned the decision, ruling that Nike's stickman design was different enough to not infringe on Zhu's work. Nike released a statement afterwards saying, "This was never a commercial issue for us. It was a matter of principle." Whether you side with Zhu or Nike, the whole thing lit up a conversation that still matters today. What counts as originality in minimalist art? I have zero background to lead this discussion, so I'm not talking about that, alright? Y'all go look up somebody else. I don't know anything about modern art or anything, okay? I know nothing. Xiao Xiao and Zhu really deserve a space in the Museum of Gaming History. I recently went to a Spider-Man exhibit, and if the history of games got their own exhibit, Flash games should have a nice red section to view some of their most iconic hits, right next to the Mugen and CS 1.6 Surf Map showcase. While I finalized editing the Unholy Wars, I wanted to take a break with a more chill upload before I hit you guys with some dark topics. Did you guys get into stick figures at all? Anyone try to make a Flash game? I'll never forget downloading sprite sheets and then cutting them one by one to set up a Flash fight. I think the time it took just to do that, just the cutting, burnt me out before I even got a chance to animate. I gave up on that career. Oh, and I've been playing this game called Your Only Move is Hustle with one of my best friends, and it is a stick figure turn-based fighting game. I've never played anything like it before. It's really cool. It's all about frame data and anticipation, but this game really got me feeling nostalgic about the stick world out there. It's like $5, by the way, so make sure to show these devs some love, all right? I do not buy AAA titles, and neither should you. As always, let me know in the comments if you have any recommendations, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, y'all.